This is about 2Caves. Off on a brief excursion, we went to a region that is literally riddled with underground caverns. I was thinking it was redundant to write underground caverns, but then I recalled many shallow caves that are not really underground. Still, if you go beyond the simple cave and get to the cavern, I think it's safe to say you will be definitely underground. It's a unique feeling, being underground. These caverns were created by the work of water. Further west you get canyons. Where we are, it's caverns. On the surface there are no rivulets of flowing water, so the water finds its way down, creating sinkholes, and the action of the water over hundreds and thousands and millions of years creates that riddled effect. The cave that we were in was over 43 miles of continuous tunnel. It was discovered, of course, by brave, curious boys who didn't mind getting all muddy and were not deterred by darkness, cold, wet, and severely confined conditions. I'm pretty sure there are caves in the Adventures of Tom Sawyer. After the lads came the better equipped, serious spelunkers who dared any avenue, no matter how narrow, soaked, or perilous. Where no passage existed, they punched one out, wriggled through. Those people endured the most hazardous conditions in search of waterfalls, beautiful rare formations, and magnificently expansive open chambers. Several months before this, we had also been underground, that time in an abandoned copper mine. The experiences were, of course, very similar, but also, and more curiously, very different. The primary source of this difference lies in the fact that one of the tunnel systems was created by the force of nature, while the other was made by human industry. The played-out mine tour was decidedly more serious, mapped by historical events. We learned how the workers got down there, first on ladders, later in small cars. We wore thick jackets and yellow hard hats. We rode in a little car on rails, and we saw the evidence of the miners' work, how they cut their way into the planet's rocky crust, creating the tunnel as they dug out the ore, thousands and thousands of tons of ore. Most of all, we could easily see how dangerous the work had been, how terribly hard it must have been, under insanely difficult conditions, and we matched that up with the number of men who died or were maimed for life. In short, the tour was a sobering, if enlightening, experience. When we got back up on top, we were thoughtful, didn't have too much to say. As I recall, we made straight for the fresh fish sandwich restaurant a short ways away. The tour through the natural cavern was completely light-hearted. It was kid-friendly, like moving through a theme park. It was as if it was all happy fantasy, what it would be like if Disney had created a cave land. Water would fall in fat drops from the ceiling above, and they called these cave kisses. Most of the formations, stalactites and stalagmites, get them straight, created by the interaction of the water and the minerals, were named. We call this cave bacon, our guide, Julie, a very perky young lady, said. The bigger it gets, the less it looks like bacon, she said, but it takes hundreds of years for that to happen. Rooms and passages were named too, as in Thunder Alley, where we were encouraged to stomp. All the time we were walking on a metal path and staircase with hard rails securely attached to the cave. We rode a short distance in a boat, also named Harvey, one of three, the other two being Dolly and Clifford, like old draft horses. Everything was transposed, not scientifically, but fancifully, into fantasy. If you look up a little, you will see our cave dragon, Julie said, indicating it with her flashlight. There is her head, these are her wings, and this is her tail. and we know she's a lady dragon because here is her nest, and there are her eggs. It was all very whimsical and cheery in that awesome space 110 feet below ground level, nothing like the dread that lingered, that haunted the old copper mine. The specific history of a place never leaves it. That mark is indelible. Nature left some bones in the cavern, pigs and a bear. There were no bones in the mine, just ghosts.